If you've ever questioned where your relationship is headed, you are not alone. There are certain red flags that can tell if a relationship is on shaky grounds. And so, in this video, we are breaking down 5 major subtle and obvious signs that a relationship may not survive. And trust me, these are things you do not want to miss. Hey friends, my name is Imo. I'm the author of these 2 published books. I'm also a relationship counselor and a life coach. Let's get into the signs that a relationship may not survive. Sign number 1, you are in a relationship with the wrong person or someone with questionable character. Sometimes the relationship will fail, and this is not because of what you do or don't do, but because of who you are with. You can be an angel and be great and be a saint. But if you enter into a relationship with the wrong person, especially with someone whose character is questionable, that relationship will likely fail. A couple years ago, I was seeing this guy I really liked. It was very tall. It was a Christian, of course. It was dark, well-spoken, very mature. It just fit into this profile of my dream guy. I liked him a lot and I would have married him but for God. While we were getting to know each other, I started noticing weird things about him. For instance, he kind of lacked empathy. I mean, he always struggled with his feelings. Every time or whenever I'm saying something, he just shrugs it off, and dismisses it or changes the topic and make it all about himself. He had this strong desire for praise and constant admiration. He was always fishing for compliments and validation. He had a huge sense of self and he always thought he was more important than he really was. He actually told me once in passing that I should be thankful that he's dating me, like he's somewhat doing me a favor. Our conversation always centered around him, what he wanted, what he needed. He was often manipulative. It would talk me into giving him money. I was a student and he was working and I still gave him. It would still collect out of the little I had. Do you see where I'm going with this? I was dating a textbook narcissist and the relationship failed. If I had married him, I'm sure the marriage would have failed because it was absolutely wrong for me and I was wrong for him as well. If you're currently in a relationship with someone and you're seeing a lot of selfishness, self-centeredness, manipulation, gaslighting, that's a big one, because some people will just distort your reality to make you question your own perception. They will even make you question your own memory and sanity. You're seeing someone who's already cheating on you, who you cannot trust, and you're in a relationship with that person. That relationship will likely fail. Another sign that a relationship will not survive is when couples are unable to fight forward. A telltale sign whether a relationship will work out is how the couples in the relationship resolve disagreements and conflicts. And of course, disagreements are a natural part of relationship. In fact, some people will argue that there is something definitely wrong in a relationship where both parties never disagree on any matter. So the problem is not the disagreement, but how it is handled. Some couples, when they disagree, it's almost like a war. There is a lot of yelling, shouting, name calling, even up to physical aggression sometimes. There are some couples who just never agree on anything. Day is night to the other one and night is day to the other one. They disagree about everything. Some couples can hold on to malice for a month, even 2 after disagreement. If I'm being honest, of course, there are times where when my husband and I disagree, I just don't want to talk to him and he doesn't want to talk to me for a period of time. That's natural. One of the things that drew me very close to my husband and made me realize I wanted to spend the rest of my life with him was how we always fought forward. For every disagreement we've had, we've always been better for it. Many times we come back together, and when we do so, we drop our weapons of war. At that point, no one is fighting anymore, and we listen to each other, actively listening. At that point, we try not to interrupt each other, just let the other person say his mind. We don't try to justify our actions, or we try not to. I try not to. I'm still working on it. I'm a work in progress, but we try just to listen to each other and just, hear each other out. One of the things I love about our relationship is for after every argument or disagreement, we become improved versions of ourselves for each other. And I've had so many couples tell me how they fight forward, how they disagree to become better. And so if that is happening in your relationship, you should be happy because that is a good sign. But if you're always constantly fighting with just unable to resolve conflict amicably, that is a sign that something is wrong. And if it continues like that, the relationship will likely fail. Now, the third sign that a relationship will likely not survive is when it's between two people who are not whole. A relationship has more chance of succeeding when it's between two whole people, two self-sustained people who are complete by themselves. You and your partner, you should be secure. You should have a good sense of self-worth. You should be stable emotionally. You should not need your partner to complete you. You should be stable by yourself so that you don't drag your partner with you while trying to make him or her feel the emotional void inside of you. You should have a sense of self-worth and identity, not needing to have your partner reassure you every moment of his or her existence about your self-worth. You should be reliant on yourself, not overly reliant on your partner for everything and every aspect of your life. This is too much work and responsibility that will eat your relationship alive. There are so many people in relationships that are not whole, and in such relationship you will see things like emotional instability, overly clingy attitude, excessive jealousy, guilt tripping, manipulation, stagnation, constant moping, whining. That relationship is likely going to fail because one day one partner, especially the one that is in a relationship with the one that is not whole, will wake up and realize he or she does not want to be in this situation anymore because it's too much work. And if both partners are not whole, they are likely going to self-destruct at some point. Being single is an important phase of life that many people are very eager to skip to find someone to be in a relationship with, which is very unfortunate because it is during this stage while you are single that you can discover yourself, know yourself, understand yourself, develop your identity, love yourself. I remember during my single state, that was when I wrote this book. I wrote this book, Dear Lady, and I remember through it, I was able to understand myself, know myself better. And so when I met my husband, I was not just looking for him or looking at him for relevance. I already loved myself. I already knew myself, and I was better for him because of that. And the fourth sign that a relationship may not survive is if you are in a relationship with a rigid person. When you're in a relationship with someone who is just set on his or her ways, never trying to meet you halfway, never trying to compromise, that relationship is a ticking time bomb. There are different ways of doing things, but if only one person gets to have a say every time, the other person, the other partner may begin to feel unheard, unimportant, may begin to feel unwanted, and then begin to withdraw. This person may unknowingly begin to resent his or her partner. There is only so much people can take. Eventually, you find out that these people will just say, I've had enough and want to leave. And a fifth sign that a relationship will not survive is when one is in a relationship with someone of a different faith. 2 Corinthians 6:14 says, do not be unequally yoked with unbelievers. For what partnership has righteousness with lawlessness? Or what fellowship has light with darkness? As Christians, we view our lives through the lens of our relationship with God, but an unbeliever, not so much. We Christians are guarded by biblical principles regarding integrity, honesty, forgiveness, selflessness, but an unbeliever may not hold on to such standard. An unbeliever is only accountable to himself, maybe to his family to an extent, but we are accountable to God, and there is such disparity that relationship may not work. If you are not yet married and you are just in a getting to know me phase, you're just getting to know one another, some people call it dating, I want to encourage you to just really, really sit down and have a think through with this. I've realized over my 8.5 years of marriage and having seen many couples go through problems and challenges that sometimes it's not just worth it. It's not worth it. Sometimes you feel like you really want to, you feel like you're head over heels in love with that person. But when you get married and you begin to face these challenges, you would just realize like you would have been better off not getting married to them in the first place. So what I'd encourage you is to let it go. Let that relationship go. I know that it's like harsh, or it's not nice to hear, but sometimes it's the best thing to do. I am so glad that many of those signs I paid heed to, and I did not get, or I did not go into any deeper relationship with such people, because I know for certain I would have regretted it. Imagine me being married to a narcissist. Do I know where my life would have been? I know it would have been hell. So I want to recommend that if you're seeing the signs and you know down within that this is a deal breaker for you, let it go. But if you're married and you're in a marital relationship with such people, I want to encourage you to seek God's face. I want to encourage you to pray about it, because I cannot tell you to end your relationship because I'm not sure. I do not know the context of it all. And then there's so many things, marriage is so many things involved, so many moving parts. You have the kids and everything. What I can just say is prayerfully, seek God's face on this matter and get counseling, get help. If you're in an abusive relationship, however, I'm going to tell you to let it go. Let it go. If some kind of physical violence is going, let it go. Let it go. Your life is more important. But if you're in a relationship and you feel like, there's something worth saving there, I'm going to tell you to prayerfully, talk to God about it and see how it guides you. And let me know, leave me a comment in the comment section what you think. If you've, encountered such people, you've seen such signs in your past, or maybe even current, relationship. Let's get this conversation going. So if you've watched these videos to this extent, you're probably asking yourself, what are the solutions, to some marital or some relationship issues some people go through? And that is exactly what I discussed here. In this video, we discussed 4 ultimate proven solutions to people, for people in a relationship and people going through hard times. So please do make sure you check it out. And until next time, when I come your way again, my name is Imo. Bye bye.